Hello, and welcome to the second lesson of the first octave, where I will be helping you take your first steps as a pianist. If you haven't already watched the first lesson, then go back and complete it before starting this one, as today we're going to move on to new topics. The first topic we will be covering is notes. You might have seen musicians look at papers with symbols written on them and use it to play music. Well, what they're looking at tells them the notes that they need to play. There are a total of 7 notes: C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. And then you go back to C. A set of these 7 notes is called an octave. As you can see, every piano has 7 complete octaves. This is called the middle C because out of the 7 octaves, it's the fourth one, putting it right in the middle of the keyboard. Even though the alphabet start with A, in music, C is the first note of the octave. The black keys are called sharp and flat. Flats are a half step below the white key, and sharps are a half step above the white keys. A full step is going from one white key to another, or from one black key to another. A half step is going from one white to a black. There are many variations of flats and sharps. Each of them have an enharmonic equivalent. This means that a certain flat and a certain sharp actually mean the same note. For example, this is C, and this is C sharp. This is D, and this is D flat. Notice how they have different names but they play the same note? That's an enharmonic equivalent. Naturals are the opposite of sharps and flats. They indicate that a note should be played in its natural form. So a C should be played as just a C. There are a total of 7 possible sharps and flats in the piano, one for each note. So to summarize it, there are 7 octaves, 7 notes, 7 sharps, and 7 flats. The second topic is reading the staves and clefs. All music is written on staves and have a clef that they're played in. Piano is played in 2 clefs: bass, which is the lower notes usually played by the left hand, and treble clef, which are the higher notes usually played by the right hand. The treble plays the melody and the bass plays the bass note. The bass clef will always be written on the bottom and the treble will always be on the top. This is how you draw the 2 clefs. The treble clef can also be called the G clef because it starts on the G line. The bass clef can also be called the F clef since it's drawn from the F line and the 2 dots are on either side of the F line. Stave lines are the 5 lines on which all the notes are written. The first line starts with E and the last is F. The first line is E, the second line is G, the third line is B, the fourth line is D, and the last line is F. Both of these clefs are read differently. In the treble clef, C is below the first line on a ledger line. Ledger lines are when there are extra lines crossing the 5 lines on the stave, which are used to write higher and lower notes, beyond what the stave can write. In the bass clef, C is on the second space. This is an acronym that you can use to help remember the notes on the treble clef. The acronym is Every Good Bird Does Fly. The first letter of each of these words represents the letter of the line. As for the spaces, you can use the word face. Each letter of this word represents the note between the lines. So the challenge until the next lesson is to know all the notes and be able to identify them on the keyboard. To take it a step further, practice how to read the 2 clefs. Do this by taking a piece of paper and drawing the clefs and 5 staff lines. Then draw each note on both the lines and spaces. Do it as many times as you need until you can do it by memory. This will help you read, play, and write music in the future. That is all for this lesson, so make sure you keep practicing and complete the challenge. If it's too much or too difficult, then you can take your time to rewatch the videos and understand the concepts before moving on to the next lesson. And the comments are always open for any questions. Thank you, and I hope to see you again.